Welcome to the Supply Chain Careers Podcast. This is the Day in the Life of a Supply Chain Manager series. Today, we're excited to sit down with Moonmoon Rathod. She's a senior supply chain manager today. She's worked for several Fortune 500 corporations. She's going to get into the skills she had to develop to get into the role that she's in now, common career paths that she can move into next. We cover some of the industry nuances as well, from automotive to e-commerce to consumer electronics manufacturing, and a whole lot more. So tune in and enjoy the show. So we'll go ahead and get started. First question is, we're going to do this as a day in the life of a supply chain manager. So we kind of loved how you got started on this career journey. How long have you been working in this particular field? What led you to pursue a career in supply chain?
Absolutely. I've been in supply chain for and logistics for over 10 years now, but it really started during my internship at Daimler Mercedes-Benz. That experience completely shifted my career path. I realized how much I enjoyed problem solving, seeing real world impact of decisions, and working in such a fast paced and dynamic field. So I feel internships can truly show you what excites you and what doesn't. For me, that was the mark. It was clear to me that I wanted to be in logistics and supply chain. That was the right fit. And since then, I've focused on building my expertise in this field, from optimizing networks at Williams Sonoma, or leading inbound strategy at Apple, or now at Amazon, where I work on large scale inbound operations. Um, that I think my internship was the first step that showed me the path to my career. And today I use a lot of data to drive efficiency. So that was also driven by my strong base from my internship roles. And with a master's in supply chain and years of hands-on experience, my passion has only grown. And I would say this field is always evolving, and that constant change keeps me energized.
Love it, love it. I can hear the passion through your voice, and I think you have to have that to work in this field. If you don't,
Absolutely.
it's or any job really. If you don't, it's not going to work out in the long term. You'll eventually get burned out and
Absolutely.
lose the faith and want to go and figure out what is the right move. So thanks for sharing that. And you've certainly worked for a who's who when you look at some of the logos that you've worked at for the companies you've worked for. Taking a step back, when you factor in things like soft skills and hard skills, I know in large companies, I learned early on that you have to have great communication and you have to work with a lot of different personalities and be able to
Yeah.
work, from the bottom level of the organization and
Yeah.
and and
Yeah.
be able to work up and influence and obviously outward externally with customers, suppliers, et cetera. But from your own perspective, when you think about the roles you've worked in and leading up to the supply chain manager role, what are the core hard skills? We'll start there that you need to be able to pick up, and the all important soft skills as well.
Yeah, this is a great question. I would say to do well in this role or in a similar role like this, you need a good mix of technical and soft skills. You should understand logistics, data analysis, and forecasting. These are, I think, the basis of everything that you do in this world. So tools like Excel and SQL are your best friends.
Yeah.
But beyond that, real world experience, basically managing suppliers or improving processes, can be even more valuable than a master's degree. So soft skills matter as much. Also, like communication, teamwork, making able to make like a quick, like being able to make a quick decision. These are key things in this fast-paced space. And I would say to grow in supply chain, you need to like stay adaptable, always think ahead, look for ways to improve. So yeah, I would say you need a good mix of technical and soft skills. And yeah.
Yep. Agree 100%. And when you think about uh, the day to day, right? And that's what we're trying to solve for in this series and convey to our
Yeah,
audience.
yeah.
We have a lot of folks from, I would even say, high school into college that listen to this particular series. The one of the biggest questions I get from folks at that level is, I don't know where to start my career. Can you give me any advice? And I tend to flip
Mm-hmm.
that back on them and like, well,
Yeah.
you need to develop like an understanding of what are the roles that are out there, and then from there, really get an understanding of each discipline. And this series is totally designed to get that. But I would love to hear just from your own perspective, what's it like in a day to day? Can you give an overview of your typical task? What are you trying to solve for? What are the goals, objectives for the role that you're in now?
Yeah, so my main goal in my current role is to drive efficiency and automation while building long-term improvements across like the logistics network.
Sure.
So every day starts with looking at performance data, what's working, what's not working for us, and using those insights to guide decisions. I work with different teams to solve challenges. It could be engineers, it could be the procurement team, it could be supply demand management teams, it could be forecasting S&OP teams, any of those teams. But like the performance today, like the data today is telling me what the story is. And based on that, I am making decisions. That's the biggest piece. So data is everything today. And I would say there is a lot of like cross-functional collaboration in my work today. So aligning priorities with different teams, solving risks early on, and keeping operations on track. So like some days it could involve like big picture planning. Like
Mm-hmm.
what's our strategy? Where are we headed? And then other days it could be like diving into the details. So I would say my role currently is a very good mix of strategy and execution. And in supply chain, no 2 days are the same ever. So it really depends on the day. But yeah, it's strategy and execution driven both.
Sure. And that makes a lot of sense as you move up, especially the early junior part of your career. Well, I'd love to hear what you enjoy most about your job.
Uh, I would say I think I mentioned this earlier too, but like I think I enjoy big complex problems that really make a difference and like getting to solve it is incredibly rewarding to me. So optimizing how goods move around the world. I think toilet paper really put supply chain on the map for like layman.
Yes.
Like that is when supply chain became so important for like day-to-day folks just to see like the impact of it, especially during COVID. So I think for me, what I enjoy the most is like seeing results of your work and at what scale it impacts it. I think I enjoy that. I also enjoy working with like different teams and using data to make smarter decisions. And the best part is like it's always like there's some drama always, right? So it's a very fast-paced, ever-changing nature of supply chain that keeps me on my toes. And I would say I genuinely enjoy it. Like today it's tariff, tomorrow it could be something else. So I enjoy the nature of it.
Same here. I will echo that statement. It's never a dull moment. Every day is different, and there's always a challenge ahead. And on that note, what are the typical challenges that you run into on a day to day basis?
Yeah, like something I enjoy the most is also one of my biggest challenges. One major challenge is uncertainty in this world, whether it's like demand swings or supply disruptions or unexpected weather or unexpected shipping delays. Things can change pretty quickly. And I think this is where like balancing long-term planning with the need to act fast is tough, especially when multiple teams are involved and like a company that is operating at this scale is moving their products and have their strategies in place. So I would say driving improvements while making everyone is aligned with the ongoing challenge. That is the biggest, with the ongoing challenge or the ongoing disruption is the biggest piece. But I think if you have a flexible mindset and strong communication, I think you can work through it.
Absolutely. Yeah, you have some thick skin to work in the field and patience and a growth mindset too. And never stop learning is a pretty common thing that we hear because
Absolutely.
based on how fast supply chain evolves, when you think about technology and automation and AI and robotics and all the cool things that exist within supply chain.
Absolutely.
When you think about career paths, would love to kind
Mm.
of start with like what career paths led you to the role that you're in now, so folks can understand some of the foundational work that was involved to prepare you for the role you're in now, and then where could you go? Like, what are some of the common career paths that you would move to next from a role like a supply chain manager?
Yeah, I'll answer both the questions. So first is like in this space, there are a lot of directions you can go into. Like some people move into leadership roles, like director of supply chain or head of logistics and so company. But like where they shape like bigger strategies or drive the organizations. But there is also one more tangent where you can pivot into areas like product management, automation, or data analytics, especially if you enjoy working with like tech-driven solutions. So I would say for me, it was very clear. Like I enjoy logistics, but so my goal is to move up in leadership roles. So that is how I've like shaped my career so far. So I think my internship and then with Williams Sonoma, my experience with international transportation, and then with inbound at Apple, and now with Amazon. I think so far in my career, I've always seen a progression in terms of like how do I cover different parts of logistics and how do I have a holistic knowledge of this space? And then I can grow up into leadership roles. So that has been my thought process. And I would say some go into procurement or consulting as well, focusing on like supplier relationships or cost strategy. And that's great too. So if you're very business minded, but you want to be in supply chain field, you could do that as well. And like there are very like general management or like corporate strategy kind of roles too. Those are great options as well. So I would say the field really opens the doors to like different areas of the business, because the skills like problem solving, like cross-functional leadership, data-driven thinking, they're so transferable that you could go into any direction. But I think you will like I would say in my opinion, like as you take up different roles or as you get different projects, you'll pivot into um what you are excited, like what excites you, basically.
That's right. That's extremely good advice. Sometimes you don't know what you don't know, right? And so you
Yeah,
have
yeah,
to take that leap of faith, and anything you can do to prepare in advance to get that foundational knowledge. Because at the end of the day, it's like, what do I enjoy doing? What am I passionate about? And
yeah.
what am I good at? And then what do I need to learn to close
Yes.
skills gaps to get qualified to move into that targeted role, whatever that role is, right?
Absolutely, absolutely.